So I think it's been around it's been around a week since I last recorded anything. But a lot, so much has happened. It feels like I've gone through 2 weeks, maybe even more. But the overall gist of it is that I've done $1,000 in revenue. The issue is that I've spent around 1,200 on ads. What I didn't know was that you're taxed on ads. So where I thought I spent 1,000 on ads, I'd actually spent 1,200. And I've spent around $230 on my cost of goods. The thing is, my ad stats are really promising. My click-through rate is extremely high. My cost per click is really low, and my CPA is the thing that's high and that needs to be changed. And I also introduced Kaching bundles, which made a huge difference. It made a huge difference. It increased my average order value to around $55-$60, which is such a big deal. $60 US, it's around 90 Canadian. And I think through this whole thing, I've just been forced to learn so much faster than I've had to before. And there's always something to learn. And at each step, I'm learning things that I didn't even know that I would have had to learn. So I think the key is just to be as receiving to the information as possible. So trying to actually see what's happening, understanding the metrics, and then knowing what next steps to take. Because I saw that there was, my click-through rate was great. I had add to carts, everything. And it wasn't converting to purchases, which obviously meant the offer wasn't good, which is what I changed. And now I have ad sets. So I've even come down to my desires, so I have 2 desires that I'm expanding on now. I've turned off 3. And initially, which was 3 days ago, I made 2 new ad sets of iterations of these 2 desires. And I guess the learnings that I had before was the pre-Andromeda update, and Andromeda was the meta update which was done to the ads just because of AI and how easy it is to produce creatives now. They had to introduce a new way of pushing ads. So if your ads look very similar, so before the logic was if you find an ad that works, make small iterations to it and just push them out. So small little things and just push them out. And now the post Andromeda update, if you make creatives that are very similar to each other, it groups them together and only pushes one. So if one doesn't do well, all the others will not do well either. They're all grouped into one. So now it's about having as distinct creatives as possible. So you find your angle that you wanna that works, and then you make images or whatever it is that hit that exact same angle and tells the same story, but as distinct as possible. And now you're trying to test as many as possible. So I had almost a day and a half of running the old method, which was not ideal at all. And also since the 28th of February, so all the days of March, Facebook has had outages and bugs fixed and just a whole lot of bullshit, where 2 of the days, my entire budget was spent in a couple of minutes, and it spent double the budget as well. So that's kind of what messed up my just my spending so far. And normally I'd say if this was any other condition, this is where I would cut off the product. And I've really thought about it, because I understand that the first time that you try it, your first product, you're going to be attached. I'm aware of that. It's just all the signals are they're so good. They're actually so good. and I'm getting like 30, 40 add to carts, and I am getting sales too, but I'm getting sales on very specific ads. So now I've made distinct ads that hit the same angles, and that's what my ad set is today. Yeah, so I'm gonna try and just stay very up to date with the knowledge that I consume, because it plays such a big role. And yeah, I also did another thing I did was all these videos that I watch, and there's millions of them. That's what's so appealing to me, is that this whole business model, like all the steps are there. Like it's just how bad you want it and how much you're willing to do to make it happen. All the steps are there online, and it's just like how much can you go through and understand and just do better than everyone else. That's kind of what the whole thing of it is, which is very different to what I had before with Eidos, where, you know, like there was a million different things that I could have been doing. I was going to stores, I was making the product better, and there was just a million different avenues that I could have pursued, and I was trying to go at them all at the same time. Whereas here, I have all my metrics, I know where things can go wrong, and it's just about building that knowledge. And the more you build it, the better you get. And you can see the results, like, much quicker. So that's one thing that I find really good. But I have a lot of questions, and because I had a lot of questions, I was like, you know what? There's one guy that I really like, Anthony Camacho, and like just his whole way of going about it, his YouTube videos, everything. So I took, for the past, I think 5 months, all of his videos, I took all of his scripts, put it into one document, uploaded that to ChatGPT, and said, only pull things from this document. And then it was basically like I was having a conversation with Anthony. So I think that's super useful, and that actually answered a lot of my questions, because yeah, like I had so many questions and there was no one to really ask, because like I'll have like 20 in a day, you know what I mean? So that kind of helped. And yeah, the main thing that really fucked me was the Facebook ad spend just bugging out. And this is a everyone type thing. So I wanted to understand why Facebook would do that. So I realized that they kind of A/B test their updates. So let's say all the users are grouped into like 3 groups. They push the update to one set of one group, and see the results. And if it does shit, then they don't push it to B and C, group B and C. And I guess I was part of the group that just got fucked. And it's not just me. I checked. There's a bunch of YouTubers that are talking about it. There's a bunch of Discord like threads that are on Facebook ads. I'm hoping it's fixed tomorrow. It is the weekend also. So yeah, I'm just gonna run the budget and see what happens. I now have 2 batches of creatives, and I would be at around 30 creatives for this desire. So this is where results should pick up, hopefully. And yeah, I think the thing that has kept me going for the past, it's almost like a year and a half, it's that literally every single day, like this is what I think anyways, every single day could be the day that everything changes. And I'm just gonna keep going with that. And I learn so much every day that it's enough for me to keep going. But yeah, I'm really enjoying this. Yeah. Damn, 9 minutes.